Hello and welcome to SquishiVision, where I have just immediately watched an episode of Mandalorian, and these are my immediate thoughts. So don't expect any kind of structured, detailed analysis. This is immediately just what goes through my mind, having just finished watching it like an hour ago, half an hour ago, something like that time. So a lot of people are speculating, exactly when and where we would see Ahsoka. Like, people were being like, "Oh, it's very possible that she'll be like the last thing we see, the last scene of the end of the season, and it ends in a cliffhanger, and then we have to wait until the next season to see her properly, or she'd be in like one scene, like a cameo, and then we wouldn't see her kind of again, that kind of thing." Nope, this episode kind of throws away all that speculation. Not that I shared it myself, but immediately kind of the very first scene was focused on introducing Ahsoka, and not in any kind of coy or hidden way at all. We see the character in the full kind of glory, taken down. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing when you get so used to seeing an animated character, seeing them in real live action comes across very cosplay-y. I'm trying to think of it as like another similar version of this, of like a character who you only really know in like cartoon form, and then you see on screen and it's different. Well, I guess all kind of cartoon adaptations in a sense, but some of them are better than the others. Like, you see, I don't know, like for example, Matthew Lillard, who plays Shaggy in the films, he looks so like the cartoon version of Shaggy, it's unreal. It probably doesn't help that, as an actor, he's very good at doing the voice as well. I'm trying to think of other examples. I guess Christopher Lloyd's a really good Uncle Fester in the Addams Family. I suppose maybe I'm putting too much kind of I'm being too harsh on the need for them to be similar in appearance. And I suppose this is like 5 years after we last see Ahsoka in animated form. So you do age in that sense. The voice, I need to do something like side by side, or I'm sure someone on YouTube will do a side by side at some point. I think for me, it's more kind of getting the voice down, because obviously it's not the same voice actor as it was in the cartoons. So it's kind of, you'd hope that Dawson is able to do her own kind of take on a character, but still replicate a lot of the characteristics. Some of it was in it. Certainly kind of how she was kind of dealing with, and to be fair, there's a difference between kind of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars and Ahsoka in Rebels anyway. Like, she grows in those 19 years, if that's how long it is, and she does grow a whole bunch kind of, I guess, between here and the last time we saw her. She's very much like an adult Ahsoka now. There are some things that she does which do seem very kind of similar to how we see her act in the cartoons, like kind of the way she plays around with Grogu. Grogu's his name now. He has a name, so that's great because I guess Baby, I don't know. I wonder if it's gonna kill. Is this gonna kill off Baby Yoda, or is Baby Yoda still very much gonna? It's probably gonna endure, but I guess if a child doesn't really roll off the tongue, Grogu, I mean, it's more distinct than the child. So, I mean, it's going to be a whole bunch of people being like, Baby Yoda. No, his name is Grogu. You refer to him as Grogu. But yeah, the way she plays with Grogu is very similar to how it reminds me of how she played with the Baby Hutt all the way back in her first appearance. So that was nice. I don't know if it was just me, if all the lightsabers sounded less, a bit different. I don't know. I can't. The lightsabers, the sound effects on the lightsabers seemed less present in this. If that makes sense. Like, we hear them ignite, but then kind of not really much after that. I do like how throughout the entire episode, Ahsoka's basically treated like a horror villain. like a horror monster. Like even in the cold opening, she kind of fades in and out of the smoke. You really see her when she attacks. It's shot in the same way that you would shoot, like a monster movie. And when she's like stalking the bad guys through the town, it's the exact same. Gosh, exact same thing. It's depicted the same way that you would if you were filming kind of like a horror monster film. So I did like how the Jedi, how Ahsoka is basically like basically the monster for the bad guys. So like I do like by harkens to like the last season when there was comparisons between Darren's Darren when he's in an episode of Prisoner when he gets betrayed and he fights back and he basically like Batman's everyone. So I do like that. Yeah, but I'm just trying. I don't know. I guess we're still used to this animated character. It's kind of getting used to seeing them in live action and trying to consolidate these are the same people. I guess it's the same thing that you've got to do when you see someone recast. I suppose it's always a bit kind of weird. But it was. Yeah, because it always comes off as cosplay, and I was trying to, it was distracting, but I don't think that's the show's problem. I think that's my problem, trying to kind of get over that. So yeah, we do learn a lot more about the child. The name's Grogu. They were raised in the Jedi Temple, so I guess that's the most surprising thing, because I think a lot of the assumption was Grogu was just happened to be a member of Yoda's species, which just happened to be also force sensitive, which is implied that all of Yoda's species are force sensitive, and this happened to be, just another member of the species, because one of them is bound to be around. But actually, he was a Jedi, or at least they were in the Jedi Temple. So the part of the Jedi community. And I guess it gives kind of more traction to what the armor are saying, because they were saying, this species, this child belongs to like a race of sorcerers, and it seemed a bit odd because you're assuming that the child was known to the Jedi and it was happened to be one of the many force sensitive species. I thought that might have just been a misassumption on the armorer's part, but it does seem that. So I wonder how many actual members of Yoda species there were, and if they were all kind of in the Jedi community, if they were all brought up in the temple, if every member of that species was so small and had to be part of the Jedi Temple. It's also interesting that Tano basically establishes that the child had multiple masters, so considering how long it takes Grogu to grow up, it's kind of like, it does kind of, it kind of does imply that they'd have to have multiple people teaching them until they're old enough to have like a single master, I suppose. I do have to wonder. Loads of people have speculated this, I suppose, and it's been kind of thrown out as like, oh, just kind of light-hearted. It's never going to happen, but it's fun to kind of speculate. But if Grogu did grow up in the Jedi Temple, is Grogu Yoda's son, or even Yaddle's son, or both of their sons? It's very much a real possibility now. I don't want to say they're all related just because of the same species, but it's odd that 50 years. So that's actually it was pretty much established that Grogu is the same age as Vader. Vader died at 45. This is 5 years after Vader died, and Grogu's 50. So Grogu would have been in the Jedi Temple the entire time of the prequels. The entire time Anakin was there. Strange that we never saw Grogu then, or even heard about them. Not entirely strange, but I don't know. You think it would have been? It wouldn't. So did Ahsoka know about Grogu, or was Grogu hidden even before then? Because it was mentioned towards the end of Clone Wars, Grogu was hidden. It's not entirely sure why though, because it was quite late when they knew there was a lot of stuff up. There's a lot more to this, and I'm curious to know what the rest of it is. Yeah, and the other kind of big revelation is and this is kind of suits into the joke of people making that basically the Mandalorian is Filoni's way of making a sequel to Rebels. But Grand Admiral Thrawn is being thrown back into the mix, and I guess it's a lot of people like, you know, Thrawn was like a big character in like what are now Legends books, and had like a big presence, and then finally kind of made his appearance in like canon and in the visual medium in Rebels. And I thought he was like extremely. I mean, I've not read the books, but I thought he was very kind of. He had a big villainous, threatening presence in Rebels. Even if eventually his way of being defeated was sucked into hyperspace by big whales. I didn't think it undermined his character. I just felt it was a bit funny. And people kind of speculate whether or not this is kind of, you know, whether this was a death worthy of the character. And I always got the assumption that Thrawn didn't die from this. I felt like the episode clearly indicated that, but it was never clarified. And some people pointed out, and again, I've not read the books, that actually this explained Thrawn was actually absent for the entirety of the events of the original trilogy because he was lost in deep space, and this kind of is why he was lost in deep space. So this kind of both ties into like confirming that, you know, as far as Tano is concerned, he's alive, and also kind of continues where we ended Rebels, which is with Tano and Sabine Wren looking for Bridges. So now I got to wonder, is Bridges gonna? So now I got to wonder, is Thrawn gonna be in live action? Because that'd be cool. And is Bridges gonna be back into it? And are we going to bring back all? You're just gonna consistently bring back Rebels characters and see them in this series. I wonder. I don't know. It depends if we're actually going to see the outcome of that in this show, because, you know, Star Wars has multiple shows, but it is a big, massive universe, and there's no absolute reason why. Just because there's no reason why, you know, that we have set a plot thread here, and the plot thread has to be finished in Rebels. It could easily just be finished in another show. But yeah, that kind of Easter egg to the Rebels was kind of cool. I felt the bit where it was nice that kind of I felt it would be a better ending if like the gunfighter, the hired gunfighter, was just like, yeah, this isn't my war. Clearly, your Jedi dude's gonna win. I'm off, and just leaves, and that's like the last we see of him. The whole, I'm gonna pretend to put my gun down and then reach to the weapon behind me. That seemed like that. I mean, that's been done. That's been done in Mandalorian, probably. It's been done in. I mean, I guess it is like a Western trope, and this show is a Western, and it kind of likes to show Western tropes in the context of Star Wars. But I just felt it would have been like a better kind of inversion if he kind of just left, because it was like, you know, you had the better drop on him whilst you were holding your rifle and your finger on the trigger, putting your scientific weapon down and then grabbing a pistol from your back is not. It still gives the dude enough time to pull out. It gives the dude more time to aim and shoot you than it would if you just lifted up your rifle and shot him. So that was kind of like, well, a stupid idea. But yeah, there was never really any kind of set of threats, but I guess that wasn't the point of the episode. Darren gave up very easily in not leaving the kid with Tano. I mean, I guess, you know, one of the big themes in The Mandalorian is parenthood, and I guess one of the big things is, you know, this guy's clearly becoming attached to Grogu and doesn't want to leave Grogu behind ultimately, because, you know, he now considers Grogu like a son to him. I get that's kind of like the characterization that's happening here. It's just, also as a Mandalorian, he seems very, very, very dedicated to the cause and to like wanting to complete his mission and complete his quest, and that's like his overarching kind of motivation. And all they had to do is give it to a Jedi, and it kind of just like when Tokana was like, "No, you need to find another Jedi." He was like, "Okay." I guess it wasn't kind of for him like that. It was kind of like for him like giving the child a choice. But he was like, "Oh, you made me a promise that if I helped you, then I'll give you. Then you have to have a child," and then it just kind of like didn't happen. I don't know. Like, obviously, from a narrative point of view, I know why. I know why they. It just seems like kind of like I don't know. I need to see where it's going to see if this is like if this is retrospectively a good thing. It seemed odd that he like they just need to, I guess they need to pay it off, but like being like, well, he ultimately doesn't want to get rid of a child, or the child would be better with him anyway, and this was like a good decision. Until then, it's kind of like it kind of seemed a very narrative decision rather than an actual character decision. Anywho, I'm going to be live in 18 minutes on Newcastle Student Radio and on Film Stocks Facebook stream. Doing a this phone is angry. Talking about book adaptations, specifically young adult book adaptations on the Film Stock Radio Show. So if you go over to the Film Stock channel, you'll find me there. I need to go poop first, so I'm gonna end this. I think it's good. This is a decently good, concise one. I like how I was concise on the one full of loads of plot, and then I rambled on the ones without much plot. It's not really the direction you're meant to be going in when you're doing this. You're meant to be going over around. But I think this episode kind of just sped through a lot of the plot things, and laid a lot of kind of new things down. I think I kind of a bit of a problem where the end was kind of how they were like, just, we're leading towards you leaving Grogu with Tano. Oh no, you're not. You've got another kind of quest to go on to now. Oh well. To me, it kind of just seemed like it all happened very fast. I felt like we could have got more information off Tano. Like we seem to get kind of like the bare minimum. Like if I was this dude and I've been risking my life for this child for like so long just to get him here, I'd be asking so many more questions. But yeah, like I said, I'm on radio in 15 minutes, so I better skedaddle. I will see you guys next week. Bye. Oh, it was the wrong one!